breaking news, hot off the press. Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark has suffered a left groin injury, and she is out.
Caitlin Clark out yet again with a left groin injury.
Caitlin Clark is out injured.
CC hurt again.
That it just went bad.
She is the WNBA. That's the draw. That's the aura. That's the brand. That should be the logo of the WNBA.
2 minutes ago, Caitlin Clark is officially out with a groin injury.
Caitlin Clark is out injured with a groin injury. She's lucky she didn't blow it. She's lucky she got a full push on that and her knee didn't buckle in. But she ends up down from that.
And fans are outraged. Stephanie White is under fire, and questions are swirling about how this even happened.
It's clear she has absolutely no idea.
MRI, did it show a strain or anything? Or I don't. You'll have to ask our training staff.
Like, she's literally like, I don't know.
I stay in my lane.
Fans are done with Stephanie White. The honeymoon period is over.
But first, if you support Caitlin, drop a number 1 in the comments to show her some love. Let's break down what really went wrong.
Peterson just revealed moments ago that Caitlin Clark is out with the left groin injury.
Caitlin Clark, right? What does she mean to the game of women's basketball?
Everything.
Caitlin Clark has officially been ruled out with a left groin injury.
This is the second damn injury Caitlin Clark has suffered this season.
And the details surrounding how it happened have left fans confused and concerned.
The Indiana Fever literally taking what looks like the most valuable women's athlete asset, I contend, is worth more than every player in the WNBA combined.
The Indiana Fever announced the injury just hours before the game, stating that Clark would not suit up against the Los Angeles Sparks. The announcement caught many off guard, but signs of trouble had been building for days. According to the team, Clark reported discomfort the night before the game.
Caitlin Clark, your greatest asset, is going to get hurt. The face of your league is going to get hurt.
And was sent for an MRI. But what's raising eyebrows is how late this was discovered and how little information is being shared. Head coach Stephanie White admitted she only found out late last night.
Late last night, I think it's very much a day-to-day thing, how she responds to treatment. I stay in my lane and let our strength and conditioning and our physical, our AT staff do what they do best. But yeah, I found out late last night, and then we'll treat it day to day.
And deferred almost every question about the injury to the training staff. Her repeated line, "I stay in my lane."
I don't. You'll have to ask our training staff. Yeah, I stay in my lane.
That vague response has left fans wondering, was this preventable?
Stephanie White said Caitlin Clark reported pain to the training staff last night, then got an MRI on her groin. White said CC is day to day and did not specify if the MRI showed a strain.
Many fans and analysts now believe Caitlin has been playing through pain for weeks. Some even point to signs from previous games. Moments where she looked off, moved differently, or seemed to lack her usual burst.
The explosion wasn't there. The lift on her shot wasn't there.
One viral clip even shows her pulling up awkwardly, clutching her groin, and visibly in pain.
16 seconds to go. The game's over, and Caitlin Clark gets subbed back on the court for some reason. And Aaliyah Boston throws a bad handoff to her. Like, it was a bad handoff by Aaliyah Boston there. She's then running after the ball, and then she just pulls up with something. She pulls up with something, like she just jumps in the air. Like, I thought she tripped over her own feet. She just jumps in the air. Like, if you're looking at that, like, that's not tripping over her own feet. She just jumps in the air and then eventually hits the deck in that position there. Like, she could have definitely blown at her knee from that landing, by the way. She's lucky she didn't blow it. She's lucky she got a full push on that and her knee didn't buckle in. But she ends up down from that.
This isn't her first health scare either. Earlier this season, she was sidelined with a quad strain, also in her left leg.
That is groin tape, more so than quad. It could be a quad, but maybe it could have been a misdiagnosed injury. Could genuinely just be could have been a misdiagnosed injury.
That history is now fueling speculation that Clark's groin injury may have developed from overcompensation or being rushed back too soon.
You guys rushed her back. And within rushing her back, she re-injured that same quad. She was forced to put pressure and put stress on different areas. That leads us to our most recent groin injury.
Medical experts say that's a real risk. When one area is weak, the body naturally shifts stress elsewhere, potentially causing further damage. Now, with Clark officially out, fans are demanding answers. Was this just bad luck? Or has Caitlin Clark been pushed too hard, too fast in her rookie season?
You can't trust Stephanie White. Fire Stephanie White. Stephanie White is not the coach the Fever need.
As soon as the news broke that Caitlin Clark was out with a groin injury, fans erupted, not just in sadness, but in pure outrage. And the target of that outrage? Head coach Stephanie White. The backlash didn't take long to ignite.
Stephanie White seems to be completely in over her head. Once again,
Fans questioned why Caitlin Clark, the face of the WNBA, was being played so aggressively, even in games that were already decided. The most glaring example came just before her injury.
why the hell was Caitlin Clark in this game, a game that was over with 16 seconds left against the Storm? They won the game.
Basketball of the
But
season.
some people are saying that Caitlin Clark got
Hands it
injured
off as Clark's back in.
right
She goes
there.
down.
With only 16 seconds left in a game that was already over, Clark was inexplicably put back on the court.
Caitlin Clark clearly not looking like herself. The Indiana Fever has the game put away, yet we still put her back in the game at 45 seconds left.
Moments later, she was seen limping and favoring her left leg. That single coaching decision has become the spark for a firestorm of criticism. To make matters worse, White's public response to the injury situation only added fuel to the fire. During a press conference, when asked about Clark's condition, Stephanie repeatedly said, "I stay in my lane."
Late last night, I think it's very much a day-to-day thing, how she responds to treatment. I stay in my lane and let our strength and conditioning and our physical, our AT staff do what they do best. But yeah, I found out late last night, and then we'll treat it day to day. I mean, I don't know that it's a factor from a physical standpoint, from an athletic training standpoint. Certainly in my mind, it is. But at the same time, she's shown that she's tough and she's a quick healer. So we'll see. I had to have been at some point during the day because they took her out yesterday, for the MRI. So I'm not exactly sure. I didn't hear about it until we heard from our training staff last night. I don't. You'll have to ask our training staff. Yeah, I stay in my lane.
Instead of offering clarity or reassurance, she deflected all responsibility to the team's athletic training staff. That passive attitude angered fans, many of whom expected a stronger, more accountable response from a head coach leading one of the most scrutinized teams in women's basketball. The criticism wasn't just emotional, it was logical. Why was Clark playing extended minutes in blowouts?
Caitlin Clark is so great for the WNBA. The WNBA has always been physical. It's always been extremely competitive, right? And Caitlin Clark isn't the best player in the league. She plays the game with a high skill level.
Why wasn't she being rested on back-to-backs? Why did it take so long to recognize that she might be playing hurt? These aren't just angry questions. They're valid concerns about player management and long-term health. Adding to the outrage is the pattern of physical abuse Clark has endured all season long.
No, let me correct. If you keep allowing this dirty play to happen, not physical play, the Marina Maybury shit was dirty. The eye gouge is dirty.
She's been repeatedly fouled, bumped, and targeted without consistent calls from referees.
So referees not calling certain fouls, allowing Caitlin Clark to constantly get hacked up and down the court. This is sad, man.
Yet was still expected to carry the load for the Fever night in and night out. Fans feel that instead of protecting their star player, the organization, and especially the coaching staff, may have actually contributed to her injury. One user wrote, "You play her 40 minutes every night and then act surprised when she gets injured? That's coaching malpractice." Another added, "She's not just a player, she's the reason this league is getting record ratings. And you treat her like she's disposable?" Even neutral observers are beginning to agree. Whether intentional or not, Caitlin Clark was mismanaged, and Stephanie White's leadership, or lack thereof, is now front and center.
Fans are done with Stephanie White. The honeymoon period is over.
This isn't just about a few angry tweets. This is about the perception that Caitlin Clark, the most valuable player to ever enter the WNBA from a business and media standpoint, is being failed by those entrusted to guide her. For a league trying to grow its audience and prove it values its talent, this is a devastating look.
In this league, if Caitlin Clark was to choose to walk away, this is a disaster.
Caitlin Clark's groin injury isn't just a personal setback. It's an alarm bell for the entire WNBA, and the consequences of how this situation is handled could echo for years to come. Let's start with the obvious. Caitlin Clark isn't just another player. She's not even just a rookie. She is, by every measurable standard, the biggest draw in WNBA history. Her games are sold out across the country.
We saw the Caitlin Clark effect last season. We saw the influx of millions of new fans, billions of dollars in revenue that came to the WNBA and that was supposed to come to the WNBA this season.
You can't win a game without Caitlin Clark.
She's already starting on fire, man. She's ready to go. Look, jersey lifted up. Oh, throwing the jersey. Swing it around your head like a helicopter, then leaves the building. All right.
She's the reason the Fever are suddenly getting national TV slots. She's brought in millions in jersey sales and brand deals. She's driving fan engagement at levels this league has never seen before. And yet, despite her massive impact, the system around her appears to be crumbling under pressure.
Stephanie White's credibility is fried. But in comparison to Chrissy Size last year, when Chrissy Size was revealing personal conversations that she had with Caitlin Clark that didn't necessarily benefit Caitlin Clark.
Since entering the league, Clark has faced nonstop physicality. Game after game, she's been hacked, bumped, shoved, and even intentionally fouled, often without a whistle. She's been targeted by veteran players, criticized in the media, and subjected to a different standard of officiating. Yet instead of stepping in, the league has stayed quiet. Instead of protecting their greatest asset, the Indiana Fever have leaned into her popularity.
Caitlin Clark is the GOAT.
She signed my jersey. So happy, I'm crying. I'm so happy. This is the best day ever.
Caitlin Clark effect seems to be crazier than year one.
I love watching her score and just everything about her.
They went the extra mile just to watch her play here.
This is great news for women's basketball, period.
Overplaying her on heavy minutes and failing to manage her workload. This groin injury, whether a strain or tightness, is now the second lower body issue Clark has experienced in just a few short weeks. Previously, it was a left quad strain. Now it's a groin. Medical experts and fans alike have pointed out the obvious. These are classic signs of overuse in muscular compensation, where one injury leads to another. And it's happening because Clark is carrying too much, physically, emotionally, and competitively. Many believe she's been silently playing hurt for weeks.
This could very much be a low management thing, bro. She's been looking like she's been walking kind of funny.
And now that her body finally gave out, the team is calling it a day-to-day situation.
I fully believe she's been playing through this injury.
But fans aren't buying that. Why? Because the pattern doesn't lie. Her shooting numbers were dipping. Her movement looked off. She didn't have her usual burst. And yet, she was still playing 35 to 40 minutes a night. And while the team downplays the situation, fans are asking the real question, what's the rush? The WNBA season is a marathon, not a sprint. Clark is expected to represent the franchise for years.
Caitlin Clark, right? What does she mean to the game of women's basketball?
Everything. The attention she's bringing, but the hate she's bringing from no players, it's great. It's what sports wants. You need a protagonist, antagonist, all that stuff that movies are based around.
She's the reason why we're always seeing something, because she's the star.
She's a golden goose of this league.
Caitlin Clark is so great for the WNBA. The WNBA has always been physical. It's always been extremely competitive. You know what happens when you get a superstar that may be a little bit of an instigator, or a superstar that may be a little bit of an antagonist? You gotta go get a goon. Right, and Caitlin Clark isn't the best player in the league. Sports is about storytelling. There's a story that started at Iowa that we now get to watch in the WNBA. She plays the game with a high skill level.
She is the biggest or the brightest star right now. She's the most marketable person in the WNBA. She's the most microscopic, and anything that involves her, the media is going to take it and push it out into the universe.
Caitlin Clark, her skill level, her narrative, the thing that is driving the league.
So why risk her future for short-term wins, especially when the team is still developing? Some have even floated the possibility that this injury is strategic load management, a quiet way to rest her without saying the word rest, since that might spark controversy. If true, it would reflect a deep mistrust between player, staff, and fans, a sign that transparency is breaking down within the organization. There's also a growing narrative that Caitlin Clark might not fully trust the system around her, and that's dangerous. When a player of her caliber starts to feel she's being used more than protected, the long-term consequences could be massive, from decreased motivation to eventual burnout. This is how stars begin to fade, not because of talent, but because of mishandling.
She is the biggest or the brightest star right now. She's the most marketable person in the WNBA. She's the most microscopic, and anything that involves her, the media is going to take it and push it out into the universe.
Caitlin Clark, her skill level, her narrative, the thing that is driving the league.
Let's not forget the larger context either. Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA under an unprecedented media microscope. Every move she makes becomes national news. Every play she's involved in is dissected. That type of pressure, combined with heavy minutes, relentless travel, physical abuse, and coaching instability, creates a perfect storm for injury and exhaustion. And now, with major events like the Commissioner's Cup and the All-Star Game approaching, fans are left wondering, should Clark even return before August? Many believe it's not worth it. If there's any risk of long-term damage, Clark should sit out and recover fully, even if that means missing the biggest promotional games of the season. Her health and her future are more important than ratings.
This breaking news, hot off the press. Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark has suffered a left groin injury, and she is out.
Caitlin Clark out yet again with a left groin injury.
Caitlin Clark is out injured.
CC hurt again.
That it just went bad.
She is the WNBA. That's the draw. That's the aura. That's the brand. That should be the logo of the WNBA.
Caitlin Clark is out injured with a groin injury. She's lucky she didn't blow it. She's lucky she got a full push on that and her knee didn't buckle in. But she ends up down from that.
Situation has turned a spotlight on how the WNBA and its teams handle young stars. And it's not a good look. Caitlin Clark should be the symbol of a league on the rise. Instead, she's becoming the face of a system that's failing to protect its most valuable player. The Fever and the WNBA now face a critical moment. Either they learn from this and prioritize player safety and transparency, or they risk losing the trust of the very audience Caitlin Clark helped bring in. And once that trust is broken, it's hard to get back.
Caitlin Clark is the GOAT.
She signed my jersey. So happy, I'm crying. I'm so happy. This is the best day ever.
Caitlin Clark effect seems to be crazier than year one.
I love watching her score and just everything about her.
They went the extra mile just to watch her play here.
This is great news for women's basketball, period.
Caitlin Clark, right? What does she mean to the game of women's basketball?
Everything.
Caitlin Clark is so great for the WNBA. The WNBA has always been physical. It's always been extremely competitive, right? And Caitlin Clark isn't the best player in the league. She plays the game with a high skill level.
Caitlin Clark's injury isn't just a headline. It's a wake-up call. A player who's done more for the WNBA in a few months than some do in a career is now sidelined. And fans are demanding accountability. From confusing injury updates to questionable coaching decisions, the situation around Caitlin has exposed cracks in how this team, and maybe the league, is managing its most valuable star.
There's what they tell us, there's what they want us to know, and then that little area in between to where we can figure it out ourselves. So anyway, my name is Rich Latta. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. What do you make of Stephanie White's media strategy and also, you know, the timeline of these different things that maybe undo some of the things that she said? Make sure you join the membership tab. Got a lot of great benefits there if you want to support the channel. My name is Rich Latta. This is One Lifetime. Peace.
So what happens next? Does the Fever make changes? Does the WNBA step in? And most importantly, will Caitlin get the rest and support she needs to come back stronger? If you stand with Caitlin Clark, don't forget to drop a #1 in the comments. And if you believe she deserves better, share this video so more people see what's really going on. We'll keep watching, we'll keep reporting, and we'll keep holding the system accountable because Caitlin Clark deserves nothing less. Until next time, stay tuned, stay sharp, and stay vocal.